What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Tuesday, people. One day away from, one of the biggest games for Arsenal in a long time, Bayern Munich in the Allianz Arena. But listen, we'll preview the game today. Obviously, the press conference isn't till this evening, so no press conference reaction, but we will do that tomorrow. But we will look ahead to the game. They have done the Bayern Munich press conference, so we get some team news surrounding Bayern. And I'm sure we'll have a brief conversation about the weekend's game and, the very disappointing defeat to Aston Villa. And my reaction seems to have triggered a lot of people, but I don't care about them people. Keep it moving. Speak your truth, people. Speak your truth. And that's it, But big up to everyone. Hope you're well. Champions League tonight. Barcelona against PSG as well. Second leg. Big C, you've rattled everyone. I don't know what's wrong with people. Do you know one thing I never understood? I'll be honest. Let's talk about it. One thing I've never understood, people saying you're trending. It's been crazy. It has been crazy. And listen, I know when I react that people will react a certain way to it. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. I really don't. Like, I always say, be yourself. Be yourself, bro. You don't have to follow the opinion of everyone else. Let me break it down in a balanced manner. Now that the emotion has gone from the game. Or the emotion hasn't gone, but we're not in the heat of the moment. Arteta's been at the club for 5 years. And he spent £700 million. We finished 8th. We finished 8th. We finished 5th. We finished 2nd. And at the moment, we're 2nd, right? We've won one FA Cup. That's the only trophy we've won. It's the only final we've been to. I'm not sitting here saying Mikel Arteta is a terrible manager and blah, blah, blah. I'm saying for me, Mikel Arteta has had enough time to get this football club over the finish line in major trophies and give us that opportunity of winning major trophies. He's got us back competing. He's improved us. Cool. But I don't believe, if I'm being totally honest, that he's the manager that's going to win us the Premier League or the Champions League. I believe sometimes in life a manager comes in, he builds a foundation and a platform for you to build off. And sometimes then you bring in, the world-class manager that uses that platform to spearhead you to the next level. Like Brendan Rodgers did, and then next minute Klopp came in, said, listen, you've built the foundation. Now I'm going to win the trophies. I know how to do this. I'm not learning how to do this. I know how to do this. For me, Arteta is learning how to win trophies. He's learning how to sign the right players. He's learning how to try and get over the finish line. And even though he's done really well in the progression of the football club, he still doesn't know how to get us over the finish line in the major competitions. I think there is a team there with a lot of quality players, a good style of football, but they don't quite have that thing yet. That spark, that know-how of how to manage things when it's going wrong. And sometimes as a player, you need the manager to take over. That's why Pep Guardiola gets £25 million a season. That's why Simeone gets £32 million a season. Because when things are going wrong, Pep knows what to do. Klopp knows usually what to do. I don't think Arteta is there yet, and I think the project now should be finished. 5 years in, we shouldn't be talking about a project, a process, a phase next year, next summer, another striker, another this. So they're all on Twitter. Oh, I can't believe he's saying he wants a new manager. Why does that trigger people? It's football. Football's a game of opinions. My standards of Arsenal may be very different to other people's standards. So I find it funny. I really find it funny, honestly. And it doesn't bother me at all. I understand the game. I know the game. You can't call yourself... You can't say you want the best for your club, but then accept less than the best and think that that's good enough. You should always be pushing your club to do more. Arteta is a bridge manager. The time for introductory on the job is over. We need leadership. Exactly. I'm not sitting here saying the guy's a bad manager. He can go and get another good job. But at Arsenal, bro, I'm bored of hearing next year. Next year. Next year we'll do it. Next year, Klopp will go, so apparently we're going to win the league. Pep's gone in 2 years, apparently we'll win the league then. 115 charges, then we'll win the league. Sign the striker, then we'll win the league. Last year it was sign the defensive midfielder, protect the back four, then we'll win the league. I mean, Odion's saying he's generational, wait till the summer. You're probably joking with me, but you might not be. Some people are messaging me saying he's generational, he's a genius. There's no evidence to suggest that. That's fiction at this point. So, listen, here's what it is. I don't mind. Some people can't handle the truth. The facts are 5 years, 1 FA Cup, 2 top 4 finishers, no final since that FA Cup. Is that unbelievable as a manager? Is that genius? Do I think other managers could have come to Arsenal, had 5 years, 700 million, won 1 FA Cup? I think they could. But listen, it is what it is, people. It is what it is. Some people think, oh, you've lost 1 game this year and you're saying manager out. It's not because we lost 1 game. It's because of the last 5 years and the accumulation of what's happened. People say Havertz had a good season. For me, I don't think Havertz has had that good a season. In fact, I think if you'd spent that 65 million better, we'd probably be a few more points clear than we are now. But as I say, other channels are available, people. That's the beauty of YouTube. You type in the name of the channel that suits what you want to listen to and how you want it to be shaped. That's the beauty of YouTube, people. So listen, if I really was bothered about the opinions on Twitter, I wouldn't react and say the things I do. I still believe you overreacted, just facts. It's fine. No problem. If people think I overreacted, cool. I know within myself, that's how I felt. I was vexed. Because this football club consistently puts you in a situation where you start to believe we're going to achieve something and then we don't. And I'm bored of it. I'll be honest, I'm bored of it, people. I am. I hate the fact we turn our nose up at the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup and act like it's beneath us. You know, I hate the fact that when we finish second or third, we pat people on the back and say, well done. You know, we should be demanding more. And I know Pep's here. But as I said yesterday, I read out all them trophies that other managers have won in this country since Pep's been here. You know, you can still win things with Pep in this country. But, hey, honestly, you don't even rip the shirt. I think you're going soft. Yo, the shirt, I was holding it, but, you know, I held it down, man. We're in recession. It is what it is. Listen, big up to everyone tuned in. Hope you're well. Listen, I always say winning fixes everything in football. No matter what I think, what anyone else thinks, beat Bayern Munich tomorrow, we're all in a different frame of mind. We're all in a different frame of mind if we beat Bayern Munich tomorrow. The question I ask, do you think we're going to beat Bayern Munich tomorrow? And do we beat Bayern Munich tomorrow? We're going to have to produce one of the best performances of the season. In fact, I would say it would need to be the best performance of the season to beat Bayern Munich. How dare we? Speaking truth. Hey, listen, man. I always say I'd rather be told a harsh truth than a soft lie, people. I'd rather be told a hard truth than a soft lie. At least you know where you are, you know, when people speak the truth, speak facts. But anyway, Cal said we're competing at the highest level. To think there is anyone we could bring in that we could do any better is naive. I mean, Cal, why? Tell me why. I like that, and you're being respectful, so there's no, you know, I'm not pushing, you know, putting heat on you here. But you tell me why it's naive to think anyone could do better than what Mikel Arteta's doing. That comment there is the comment that makes my head hot. It really does. I'm open-minded to different opinions. Okay, you think Arteta's really good. I don't think he's that good. You're telling me it's naive to think there's another manager that can do better than what he's doing. I mean, that to me is just, that comment to me is why we haven't won the title in 20 years. Because our fans think that what we're doing at the moment is the pinnacle of where we are. I don't understand that. I've seen Arsenal win the league. I've seen Arsenal have one of the best strikers in world football. I don't understand that comment. I appreciate the super chat. The comment, I don't agree with it. You might be a lot younger than me, so this might be the best Arsenal team you've ever seen. I don't know, Cal, but big up. Gavin said, these guys are Arteta fans, not Arsenal fans. It baffles me, bro. I saw this fan base push Arsene Wenger out the football club, abuse him inside the stadium. He's arguably the greatest manager in our history. Yet Arteta, with one FA Cup, some of our fans, like, it's like, oh my God, we couldn't even operate as a football club if he wasn't here. I don't get it. I don't get it. Simone Inzaghi's just won Serie A with Inter. Alonso's just won the Bundesliga with Bayer Leverkusen. Xavi won La Liga. Conte won the Premier League. Klopp's won the Premier League. I mean, it's crazy of me to think that any other manager could do anything more. I don't get it. Constantine, it's project year 5. We should be winning titles. Apparently not, bro. We need another striker. We need Pep to leave, Klopp to leave. We need everyone to leave before we win, apparently. Then we'll dominate. You watch. He'll get a new contract this summer, by the way. He's got a year left on his deal. No way the Kroenkes will allow that contract to run down. As long as he gets top 4, job done. The money comes in, they keep it moving. Xhaka leaves Arsenal, champion, first year, crazy. Aubameyang went to Barca, champion, first year. But anyway. Let's look ahead. We got a massive game of football tomorrow night. And winning will settle everything. As I said, big up Dud Pistachio as well. Tuning in late, we'll have to rewatch. No worries, bro. It's naive you didn't give him a time. You know what? Leave him. I don't ever want this channel to be a channel where people come in the chat and think, I don't want to say something that goes against his opinion. This ain't that channel. You can go in the chat and disagree with me for the whole show. As long as you're respectful, we'll keep it moving. That's what I want this channel to be. Open football debate. Like sitting down with your mates in the front room. You think he's a good player. You don't. You rate the manager. You don't. Discussion. I'm never going to just, time out because you disagree with me. That's not what this channel's about. You know what I'm saying? So don't ever feel like you just have to agree with me. But at least I want the explanation. Like Cal said, it's naive to think that we could do better than what Arteta's doing. But I need that explanation, bro, because I don't understand that. But anyway, let's look ahead, people. Bayern Munchen tomorrow night. Do you know what? They say 7 days are a long time in football. And if we won the next couple games, everything would settle down. And all of a sudden, we're back. Let me just read this. Cal's come back. Big up. He said, we've been terrible for 2 decades. Finally, we're competing. Now we want to get rid of Arteta. I'm 52, by the way. Okay. Let me just say. So, the narrative when Wenger was here was, we're sick of finishing top 4. And he was winning FA Cups, by the way. Even, the last 5-10 years, he was winning FA Cups. And he was getting top 4. We only missed out on the Champions League 1 year of his whole career. So, he may be getting us a bit closer to the title winner. Than Wenger was. But what's the difference? 4th, 3rd, 2nd all looks the same to me. It still leads to us winning nothing. I do understand your point. I do. You're saying we haven't won it for 20 years. We've got a manager getting us competing. Why do you want to get rid of him? That's what you're saying. My argument is always, he's got us to the point of competing. He hasn't got us to the point of winning. How long do we stay in this competing before we say, we're in a great position now. Saka's got a couple years left next year. Saliba has. We need to strike while the iron's hot. We're not Brentford. We're not Crystal Palace. We're not Newcastle. We're not Aston Villa. We need to win. In the last 5 years, I've seen Chelsea win the Champions League. In 2017, they won the league as well. So in the last 7 years, Chelsea have won the league and Champions League. They haven't competed. They've won them. I've seen Liverpool win the league and Champions League. They haven't competed. They've won them. We've got a bigger stadium than them. We earned, than Chelsea and Liverpool. We've got great history. So my point is, there has to be a point that we say competing isn't enough. It's not just about Pep. City have won it. Chelsea have won it. Liverpool have won it. When's it our time, bro? I'm not going to sit here and celebrate finishing second. I won't be at no parade. I'm not going to sit here and celebrate finishing third. You might get a pat on the back, well done, it's progress from the previous year. I'm not celebrating that. I'm bored. I've seen Chelsea lift that Champions League twice before we won it, you know. Do you know how much that should have hurt the Arsenal fan base? Watching Chelsea win the Champions League twice, brother. And then Liverpool with Klopp go and win it. And then Liverpool go and win the title. And then City win the treble. And we're here in the background going, but we're progressing, we're competing. I ain't interested, bro. I ain't interested. Competing. Hey, big up Matisse in the chat. Tell him again. Big up, bro. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Right, let's move on. Let's move on. Because I'll be here all day. I will be all day. Chelsea brought it. Come on, man. Everyone buys it. Man City bought it. And that's a narrative that needs to stop as well. Chelsea bought it. Man City bought it. Real Madrid buy it. Manchester United used to buy it. Everybody buys it. Well, you ain't going to win the Champions League with youth team players. The game's changed, bro. Everyone buys it. Everyone buys it. Look at the teams, man. They're all full of superstars. Who won the Champions League last year? Man City. You know, everyone buys it, bro. We need to buy it. I'll happily take us buying it. You know? But anyway. Thomas Tuchel done his press conference. There's a few big players out. Again, I'm not going to be singing and dancing about it because who knows what difference that really makes. But Thomas Tuchel said Kingsley Coman, Serge Gnabry are out of the game tomorrow. Both ruled out injured. Gnabry's got a hamstring problem. Coman injured his knee. Coman's out for the rest of the season. But he said Neuer and Sané are available. His quote was, Leroy will have to grin and bear it like he has the past few weeks. A lot of people were saying, how did Sané get taken off in that game against Arsenal when he was literally ripping Kivior to bits, really? But apparently he's been carrying an injury for a couple of weeks as well. So he may not be able to play the whole game. But in their predicted lineup, their front three is Musiala, Thomas Muller and Leroy Sané. It's not exactly weak. I know Thomas Muller didn't play the first game. But we know he's a veteran of the sport. Obviously, no Alphonso Davies as well. I think Kingsley Coman would have been on the bench anyway. It would have been Gnabry and Sané. So from that first game, effectively, Gnabry and Alphonso Davies will be out. That is their left side. Guerrero will come in at left back. And Musiala will probably drift wide with Muller playing just behind Harry Kane. Let's get one thing abundantly clear here. And I mean abundantly clear. Belief is low at the moment because of what happened at the weekend and the Bayern Munich game. It just feels like that time of the year where, you know, the implosion. It was last April. It was the April before in the top four race. April showers. I don't know what the problem is. But Arsenal have to produce a minor miracle tomorrow night. And the reason I say this, when you look at the top of the Premier League, right? Let's have a look at the top 10 in the Premier League so far this season. Man City, we drew. Liverpool, we drew. Aston Villa, we lost. Tottenham, we haven't played yet away from home. Newcastle, we lost. Man United, we haven't played. West Ham, we beat. Chelsea, we drew. We drew with them. So in reality, out of the top 9 teams, we've only beaten one of them away from home. And that was West Ham. We annihilated them. 10th place Brighton, actually. We did beat them. So out of the top 10, we've only beaten 2 teams away from home. This is going to be a fortress. The Allianz Arena, people. I believe we're 5 days away from, we've turned it all around, belief is back, and we're cooking, or we're 5 days away from the wheels have fell off, and it's carnage. It's carnage. And the thing I always worry about with Arsenal is when something goes wrong, I feel like they don't respond to it quickly. It feels like it spirals. You know, it spirals a little bit. So I want to see what this team is made of. I want to see what Arsenal are made of. I mean, Shaquille, you're right. And I don't want to do this because I'm not going to do this. But of course, the questions will be there. Cole Palmer, 20th goal of the season last night. 4 goals. In a much worse team. So, obviously, the thing that people are now throwing around is Cole Palmer better than Saka? You know, it was Foden, Saka, now it's Palmer, Saka. For me, it's too early for that. He's had one season. He's dealing with a lot less pressure. I've played in good teams. I've played in bad teams. Sometimes it's easier to play for a bad team because there's no expectation, no pressure. There's no demand. Their season's finished. In a league capacity, he's just flowing and just scoring, nutmegging people. But he's an absolute baller. I'm not going to deny that. He's an incredible footballer. You can tell he's been raised by Pep. He's got Pep written all over him. One thing that I was thinking with Arsenal, and again, you know, I hope this doesn't sound like I'm throwing shade on Arteta again, but it is Arteta related. Now, when Arteta came to Arsenal, the thing that people were saying was, this guy is brilliant at developing wingers. They had this story out that Leroy Sané and Raheem Sterling, you know, that Arteta had done all sorts to improve them at Manchester City. I wonder sometimes if Arteta is overcoaching the wingers, and this is not factual, this is just me putting it out there. Is he overcoaching the wingers? Because when I see Saka play sometimes, I think, is he overcoached? Or is that just how he plays? Is he just an academy product that is used to keeping the ball and not that free-flowing winger? When I think of wingers, I think of, you're a 1v1 beast. You get 1v1 with a fullback and it's carnage. You know, and when I see Saka 1v1, I'm like, go on, get at him. You know what I mean? I'm almost desperate. Come on, do a step over, nutmeg him. Are they overcoached? You know, Martinelli, you remember when Klopp was talking about Martinelli saying he's generational, he's going to be a superstar, 15 goals last season. I'm thinking, boy, man, imagine Martinelli playing for Klopp, high press, high up the pitch, getting in the penalty area, goal scoring opportunities. You know, how have Saka and Martinelli gone backwards this year? And some people will say, yeah, but Saka's still produced great numbers. But we can all see that his game has not moved forward this season. And I just wonder why that is. We've been such a good team this year. Why are our wingers struggling so much? You know, you look at Trossard. He's just going around in a circle, plays really well when he comes off the bench. Then he starts, he doesn't really produce. It's an interesting thing with the wingers. You know, I'm not sure. Big C, England Saka is better than Arsenal Saka. More freedom under Southgate. They should move Saka to left back, left wing back. Try and mould him into a Marcelo style player. I mean, he was playing at full back at one stage. Campbell said, I hear you, Big C. Saka is a left back playing right wing. Great player. Yeah, and you're right. That is a great point that I always agree with. He is a full back. You know, he almost looks like he could play centre mid or attacking mid, I think, Saka, you know. But when you've played fullback and not as a winger, you haven't been in that situation constantly where, you know, you're 1v1 with fullbacks. Joba said, Big C, why do we channel our anger towards the manager? Shouldn't it be on the ownership? The standard and expectations are trickling down from them. I think mid-season, to go for the ownership is almost wasted energy. Window's closed. Nothing's going to change. I said the other day, if we finish this season like this, we'll start having conversations about the ownership at the end of the season. I think mid-season, you're looking at it going, you know, the ownership didn't start Zinchenko at left-back on Sunday against Aston Villa. The ownership didn't play Havertz in midfield. I think that's a bigger issue that we talk about at the end of the season, would be my thing. Dre said he's not a winger. I've started out as a winger, then converted to a striker. Saka has no idea what he's doing on the wing. He's learning. He probably is. He really probably is learning. Snake Eye said 3 minutes for Cow. Arteta's ego is killing us. Big up Snake Eyes. Congolese football. Curtis, do you think with Laka or Aubameyang we win the title? Probably not the version of them now, but the prime Aubameyang in this Arsenal team, I think we're top of the league. But that's just my opinion. Look at the amount of chances we miss and think about how good he was as a finisher. This team is a striker's dream if you're a good striker. We create so many chances. We can't finish. We're not prolific. It doesn't even have to be Aubameyang. You put Tony in there, you put Osimhen, you put Isak, you put Gyokeres. I think you score so many goals in this team if you're a good striker. Cal, yeah, we read that one. Big up to you. I appreciate your debate, bruv. I understand Cal's opinion, to be fair. Arteta dug us out the trenches. That's hard to ignore. Our squad still isn't on the level of the top clubs. I'd say our team's as good as Liverpool's. When you look at what we've spent. City, listen, nobody has got a team as good as Man City. You have to figure out a way to overcome them. When I was growing up, people said you can't compete with Manchester United. Biggest stadium in the country. So they, biggest fan base. They make the most money. Ferguson was breaking transfer records. Wayne Rooney, 32, 33 million. Rio Ferdinand, 35 million. He was smashing transfer records. We were buying Thierry Henry for 10, 12 million. We were nowhere near Man United's level financially. People were saying that you can't compete with United. We won multiple Premier Leagues, doubles, FA Cups, Champions League finals. It can't just be. Otherwise, we might as well not turn up. We might as well sit there at the start of next season and say, just write the league off. No one can compete with City. That's the beauty of football. Because it doesn't always work like that, does it? I do understand your point. Though. Cope said Jorginho, Zinni, Arteta on Fraud Watch. Bro. Some players need to be got rid of in the summer. That's all I'm saying. Adebayo, Wenger didn't get half the money Arteta has got. You know what I mean? When did Wenger go and spend 70 million? 80 million. Wenger spent 65 million on Aubameyang. That was his record transfer. He got 6 months with him and then left. Imagine if Wenger had the money. And Constantine said, Arteta's comments about our form being good enough in any other league was a disgrace. Leverkusen yet to lose a game. There should be consequences. Let me tell you something. The gap between Bayern Munich and any other team in Germany is far bigger than the gap between Manchester City and Liverpool and Arsenal in terms of finances. Far bigger. Go and look at that Leverkusen team and look how much that team cost and where they signed them players from. Go and look at Dortmund's team and how much it costs. And how many times you've seen Bayern Munich just cherry pick their best players off them. Lewandowski and Götze and all them players. Yet Alonso, who's never really managed, has gone there and won the league unbeaten, cup final and Europa League quarter-final. So we have to get this narrative out of our head. Some people will say, you're overreacting. You're over the top. Trust me, I'm trying to drive the mentality of the club. I'm trying to drive the mentality of the fan base. This is not some impossible monster that we cannot overcome, people. We can outdo Manchester City. Yeah, it's difficult. Klopp was winning the Premier League with Jordan Henderson. 20 million from Sunderland. Gini Wijnaldum, 20 million from Newcastle, who'd just been relegated. Sadio Mane signed from Southampton. Salah signed from Italy for 30 million. Firmino was an attacking midfielder, ended up being one of the best false nines on the planet. Robertson signed from Hull City in the Championship. Trent from the youth team. Yeah, Van Dijk's and Fabinho's, Alisson's, they cost money. We've spent more on players than they have. You know, so it can be done. Conte came here, ripped the league apart, 3-5-2. No one could compete with the wing-backs. Won the title. High press from Klopp. Won the title. Do you want me to tell you one of Arsenal's biggest problems? I'll tell you one of Arsenal's biggest problems when it comes to outdoing Pep Guardiola. Right? I'll tell you what it is. To outdo Pep Guardiola, you can't try and do what Pep is doing. He's the master of it, bro. You know, Karate Kid ain't going to beat Mr. Miyagi with the karate that he taught him. He knows it better than you do, bro. Pep's the master of that style of football. You look at any time Pep has been outdone by somebody. Mourinho went to Spain, defensive counter-attack. Couldn't cope with it. Mourinho went to Inter, beat them in the Champions League, defensive counter-attack. When he came to this country, Conte, 3 at the back, 5 at the back, hitting them on the break with the wing-backs. Rock and roll football from Klopp, high press, squeeze them. It was bullying the tiki-taka. He couldn't cope with it. Got the better of him. We are a B-Tech version of Manchester City. And we're trying to do what they do. Which is why when we play them most of the time, we can't beat them. Because we're trying to outdo them at something that they're the masters of. They keep the ball better than anybody else. They tiki-taka better than anybody else. So when we try and do that to them, we can't beat them. Yeah, we can beat them in a one-off game, but over 38 games, we don't get the better of them. Because they're like, yo, we got this on the top of our head, bro. We can't, you can't outdo us at that. To outdo Man City, you've got to do something else. Do something different. That, for me, is the problem. Sam Bond, saying Arteta is doing well when he has the second most valuable squad in the world is like congratulating a 6'10" person for being able to dunk. Oh, Sam, I like that one. I've been watching a lot of NBA. Playing start tomorrow, I think. And big up Cooper. Thank you for the super sticker, bro. But yeah, I think you've got to tweak it. It's no coincidence. The teams that have outdone Pep, they play a different style of football. You don't do what he does. You've got to do your own thing. You've got to have your own style. It's like Cool Runnings, you know. Deris, he loves the Swiss team. You know, Sanka's like, don't worry about the Swiss team. We need our own style. Kiss me lucky egg. You know? You need your own style, brother. You can't copy their homework. You know? That's their homework. But hey. Right, let's move on. See, a lot of people mentioning your name in regards to the Villa reaction. They don't get it. It's not because of the Villa. Exactly. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, but, you know, whatever narrative fits, they can run with it. I don't care. Right, let's move on. So we know no Kingsley Coman, no Serge Gnabry, and no Alphonso Davies. Transfer stories running round, but Martin Odegaard is training. He trained this morning ahead of the game. What accent? Well, I suppose it was meant to be Cool Runnings, you know, the kind of American Jamaican accent that they had. But yeah, forgive me, it sounded more like a Birmingham accent. But it's been a long week. Yeah, as he came off, he was like, you know, it is what it is. He felt something, and that's why he came off injured. And then he said he couldn't continue, but he trained this morning. Nothing wrong with him. Apparently, the entire Arsenal squad trained this morning. And listen, listen, he must have been feeling something, but don't get it twisted. Managers will say that sometimes to protect themselves. But it was a shame because I thought he was our best player. And when he came off, it was like, wow. But everyone played. And listen, the thing I want to discuss, and Timber was in full training. Apparently Timber's playing for the under-23s next week, was what I was reading. Apparently the end of next week he'll play for the under-23s. So you may have him back by the start of May, possibly. I would say now, it's so late in the season. Is it even worth risking Timber? I don't know. Do you just say, you know what, bro? You've been out for so long, man. Let's just wait until next season. You know, and just, I don't know if you want to rush him back. If we need to, then maybe. But I'm kind of in the thought process. Do you just leave him now? Get him some under-23 fixtures. Maybe you can get him on the bench for a couple of Prem games. I'm not sure. He's been out for so long. I would just wrap him in cotton wool now. And just save him till next season. You got him completely fit. Because you know what happens. He goes and have a couple decent games for Arsenal. The Dutch squad will pick him for the Euros. That's the other thing. If he's fit and available, Holland could pick him and Arsenal wouldn't really be able to say no. So that's the other problem that we've got. If we don't play him and Holland say, oh, brother, Euros, we need him. He goes and plays for them and he hasn't had no game time. So there is a balance to what you do with this. I would, you know, will the Dutch team pick him? I'm not sure. But anyway, looking ahead to tomorrow night's game, which is huge, absolutely huge. And one thing that I learned, and we all learn, and we all knew. I mean, Leahy's saying that Holland cannot pick him. It will be a travesty. Listen, bro, if he's fit and available, he's been training for weeks. Couple games, they'll be looking to pick him, bro. Holland don't care about Arsenal. If he's fit and they need him, they'll get him if they can. We've seen it. But one thing we've seen, team selection is vital. I believe we picked the wrong team last Tuesday. Kivior against Sané was not going to work. Zinchenko against Diaby and then Leon Bailey was not going to work, bro. It's quite simple. It's not rocket science. You've got to play Tomiyasu at left back tomorrow night. He's come off the bench multiple times. He's been in training for weeks. He has to be available to start now. Surely Tomiyasu plays at left. If Zinchenko or Kivior plays at left back tomorrow night, I'm lost for words. I really am. David Raya in goal. I'm putting him there. Tomiyasu has to be at left back. There's no other alternative. Sané's already bodied Kivior. Zinchenko at the weekend, that should have been his farewell appearance. Right back Ben White and the two centre-backs. Listen, they picked themselves. They got a bit of heat over the weekend. I think we have to stick by them a little bit. I really do. They've been solid for us this season. Let's face it, right? Let's put this into context. I'm not going to take the blame off the centre-back solely because they're starting to make silly mistakes. But you look at it like this. Last couple games, the goalkeeper has not done well, right? Flapping at crosses and so on and so forth. Two centre-backs, you want leadership from your goalkeeper. On top of that, the guy at left back, whether it's been Kivior or Kivior or Zinchenko, has been getting ripped to bits, which also causes an imbalance. On top of that, Declan Rice in the middle has not been at his best, and we played him in a single pivot against Villa. So the protection in front of those two is not as good. So they've been exposed a bit. I didn't think Ben White was great against Villa. He did well against Bayern Munich, I thought, apart from the chance that he should have scored. So when it's just you two and this guy's not playing well, this guy's not playing well, this guy ain't, things can start to pull apart. Another thing that I want to ask, and I've wanted to ask this question for so long. I would love to ask this question to Arteta. And I wonder if anybody else thinks this. Why do we always invert from the left? I don't understand that. Because Ben White at Brighton made appearances in defensive midfield. He stepped into midfield before and played in that role. Started in that role in DM. So why is it always the left back? Because Arsenal, for me, are lopsided and predictable. They're predictable. If you're playing against Arsenal, stop their right-hand side. Because Odegaard drifts over here. Saka's on the right. Ben White goes there. We have this triangle on the right-hand side. That's our strongest point of attack. On the left, mate, you are by yourself. You might as well set up a tent and just sit down. You ain't going to see the ball that often, and you ain't going to have much support over there. Trossard and Martinelli suffer in this team on the left. You got no fullback to overlap. Last year, Granit Xhaka, what he did so well for us, he overlapped Martinelli from this left central midfield position. So Zinchenko would step into there, and then Xhaka would go out there. And he would get, sometimes he would even underlap Martinelli or overlap, and he would pull somebody away. And then Martinelli got in 1v1 situations, which is why he scored so many goals last year. This season, our left-hand side has been a travesty. Honestly, Martinelli this season, I can't believe that's the same player that I watched last season. Start of the season, I said Martinelli's potentially my favourite Arsenal player. I don't recognise this guy this season. He has to take responsibility for it as well when he's on the ball, his decision-making. But I just think the system's too predictable. You're playing against Arsenal, yeah, they're going to invert. Left-back's going to step in. They get that triangle on the right. Double up on Saka. And why don't we throw a little curveball? Yo, Ben White, you're going to invert from the right. Today, my left-back, you're going to overlap Martinelli. And we might surprise them. We might surprise them because Kimmich had easy work against Martinelli. Imagine if he's got Tomiyasu on the overlap and, you know, you're forcing Leroy Sané on that side to defend more as well. I think we've just got to do something else. You have to keep teams guessing. Do you remember when we played Man City at home? And Bernardo Silva was at left back. You just don't know what Pep's going to do. Pep's got John Stones stepping into midfield. He's playing Bernardo at left back. He's doing all kinds of madness. I just think we're too predictable. If I was planning against Arsenal, I'd be like, yeah, Saka, Ben White will be on the overlap. Odegaard will drift over there. Do you know, and Martinelli will be by himself. I'd love to see him do something different. Anyway, they won't do it, but I'm just saying. Havertz at left back, well, the German coach tried it. I'm not sure it worked, but he did try it. Listen, for me, it's got to be. Got to be Thomas Partey in midfield, as far as I'm concerned. I watched Jorginho in that first leg. They ran all over him. I'll be honest. Conrad Lema, Goretzka, Musiala, they ran all over him. Dragged him off after 60. The game was too quick for him. That was the reason Chelsea sold him. Slower game, dominate possession. Jorginho's effective. Quicker game, chasing after mobile players. Nope. Not happening. Can't be Jorginho. It will be. I'll tell you that now. It will be Jorginho. But it shouldn't. It shouldn't be. It should be Thomas Partey. And Declan... Ross, I just reset the whole thing. What's going on here? Adverts coming on and all sorts. But yeah, it should be Thomas Partey. It should be Thomas Partey. But it won't be. I can bet money on it. This guy will play Jorginho in centre midfield. Which is still better than leaving him in a single pivot. But for me, Champions League, the physicality that we're going to need, it should be Thomas Partey, Declan Rice and Odegaard. It's simple. It's our best midfield. It's the biggest game of the season. He didn't even come on at the weekend, which was a real surprise. I don't know why he didn't come on. I think he'll start Jorginho and I think Partey will probably come on. But I don't think he'll play Partey. I mean, people saying he's not fit, but he's been back for a few weeks. By now, he should have got game time. You know, he should have got game time and kept him fitter. Ty, big up in the chat, bro. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Partey and Tomiyasu match sharpness is not there, Big C. You can see. But Tomiyasu's been coming on. I would genuinely rather play an 85% fit Tomiyasu than play 100% fit Kivior or Zinchenko. Honestly, I really would. Still going to do more. And then the front three, I would go... I'm going Martinelli, which I'm kind of not sure why. It's almost like I'm not playing Jesus wide and I'm not playing Trossard. I'm just going to hope that he can have that game against Kimmich. Saka just about on the right and Havertz up front. I mean, look, I'm not very happy with Havertz, but Jesus, mate, he just... Ugh. That would be my team. That would be my team. And the reason I would play Martinelli on the left is because we need to hit them on the counter-attack. They're going to have more of the ball than we are. A lot of you saying we need Jesus up front. I mean, I was tempted to put Jesus up front, you know, over Havertz. Because I feel Havertz... Do you know what it is? A lot of you saying play Jesus up front. I've just got this issue with Jesus and his finishing ability, man. But he did well. Do you know what? He did do well, didn't he, last week? That's a great point, you know. I'll be honest with you, you know. If you're playing Eric Dyer and De Ligt, I think Jesus is a better pick. You saw his sharpness when he came on. I think Havertz, a big 6'3" guy who's tall, who ain't... I think they can handle that. And Jesus got a good record in the Champions League. At least he brings something. He seems a different player in the Champions League. I think it's because it's not as physical. But there's no way on earth he would play that team. There's no way he's leaving Havertz out of the team. And he'll squeeze Jorginho in there somewhere. It's a tough one. Could you play Trossard up front? Some of his best games have been in the false nine role, but Picking out of Havertz and Jesus up front is not a good selection. I'm having to genuinely like figure out which one's worse, like not even which one's better, So, but hey, it will be interesting. And listen, I think he'll play. I think he has to play Tomiyasu. I don't think he's crazy enough to play Kivior or Zinni, but the midfield and the striker and the attack will be an interesting one. That is for sure. Jesus' finishing or lack of finishing ability puts me off him, but in the Champions League, he's done more than Havertz this year. Scored 4 goals. Jazarov said, "Hi Curtis, why bother doing a stream on Munich when it's a 0% chance of winning and the title is over? I thought we've given up. Arteta out protest instead." I mean, I can sense the sarcasm there. Thank you for the super chat though, bro. Listen, football's an emotional game, bro. Football's an emotional game. And things can change. Things can change. Listen, my opinion is just my opinion. It doesn't have to affect the team. The team don't have to sit there and go, "Oh, it's over, and Arteta out." It's about them. It's not about me, bro. I'm not on the pitch tomorrow. They beat Bayern Munich. I have to fall back. Say, "Right, I didn't know you lot was capable of that." Arteta masterclass over Tuchel. Yo, big up. Go and beat Wolves at the weekend. Beat Chelsea next Wednesday. 4 points clear of City. 2 games in hand. Everything's turned around. But they've got to do it. It's down to them. Not down to me, bro. That's why I keep telling these people on Twitter. Look at the team. Look at the manager. Look at the ownership. Then you might find solutions to your questions. You know what I mean? Jay Guna said, "You said we have a different style. You said we have to play a different style to City, but they didn't get the better of us 3 times. We played a different way at their house and got a decent result. We didn't play the way they play." This season, in the 2 games we played them, we played a little bit different, a bit more defensive, which is why I think we got better results. But overall, throughout the season, we do play a similar style to them. I'm not saying we come unstuck all the time when we play against Man City. I'm saying throughout the season, we come unstuck against other teams playing the style that City play. Because you saw against Villa, you saw against Fulham, when plan A doesn't work, we don't have a plan B. We don't have a plan B. You don't see Arsenal go direct, say, "Right, let's bring on, the tall target man and stop whipping crosses in." And we play one way, and that's the problem. Yeah, especially at home as well. And we're good at it, but like I said, you've got a team that's even better at it. That's the problem. Right, bit of transfer news before we round up. We will be doing the watch-along tomorrow night. It's going to be a huge game, monster game. A couple of things. I'm just going to skip through them. Ollie Watkins. Although I don't like talking about him after he chipped the goalkeeper the other day. Watkins apparently is on Arsenal's striker target list. However, his age and his price of more than 80 million are obstacles, says Sammy Mokbel, who is a decent source actually. But I did say this the other day. A number of people have been saying, "Would you take Watkins at Arsenal?" Listen, Watkins a better goal scorer than we've got at Arsenal. But he's going to be expensive. He signed a 4-year contract this year. They're 4th in the Premier League. They've got rich owners. Aston Villa, very rich owners. Emery, you think Villa are just going to say, "Come and take our best player"? It's not happening. 80 million plus to get this guy out of Villa. They sold Jack Grealish at 27 for £100 million, a left winger. How much are you going to sell your striker for in a market where the striker market is a mess? I wouldn't be surprised if they asked for 100 million for him. Would I pay 100 million for Watkins? I wouldn't. And I think you're right as well. Villa, they do play football. They're not a bad footballing team, but I think they're a little bit more direct than we are. Would he be as good at our sort of interchange and stuff? Listen, I don't want to come across like a snob, because when you got Havertz, Jesus and Eddie and Nketiah, you should not be saying no to Ollie Watkins. However, when you think about the age, the price, and the ability level, does it add up? I'm not sure. Curtis, would you let Watkins? I said he's the type of guy you wouldn't let take your daughter on a date because he'd run off if they got into a fight. But I don't know. Maybe he'd stand there and have a go after he chipped our goalkeeper. He wouldn't work with Mikel's arrogance, says Dre. While there are no serious links to Musiala, there should be, shouldn't there? Maybe he wouldn't come to us. He's being linked with Man City. Gunnar said, no, however, he's better than what we've got. But this is Watkins in his best season. He ain't levels or the gunman striker we need. Watkins, he's nearly 29. Or has he just turned 29? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Ollie Watkins. Oliver Watkins, 28. No, he don't turn 29 till December, but yeah. He's having his best season. Having a very good season. And then another transfer story regarding another striker, of course. That man Gyokeres. Story coming out. Arsenal are impressed by scouting reports on Victor Gyokeres and the possibility of moving forward with a proposal to purchase the pass at the end of the season. You've got that all wrong. I think you meant player. Is increasingly likely. The release clause of 100 million euros is considered non-negotiable by Sporting, but the English team hopes to reach an agreement with the possibility of exchanging players or on loan. And I saw the list, and the list was Reece Nelson, Kieran Tierney, and Fabio Vieira. Now, I don't know Fabio Vieira. I don't know how big the rivalry is in Portugal, but the fact that the guy played for Porto, I don't know how, does that mean it's impossible for him to go to Sporting Lisbon? People who know about that, let me know. Reece Nelson, are they really going to be jumping through hoops to take Reece Nelson? I don't think so. And, Kieran Tierney, maybe. Probably not bad. I'm not sure. Apparently, they've done big deals in the past where they've accepted money plus cash. It looks as if they're going to lose their manager. It looks like their manager's going to go to Liverpool, and they're obviously preparing to lose Gyokeres as well. Are Arsenal going to pay 100 million for a guy that's had one good year? Well, 100 million euros, 82.5 million pounds for a guy that's had one good year in Portugal. Me personally, if they were prepared to take money plus a player, did I say money plus cash? Apologies. I'm still not over the Villa defeat. Money plus cash, you know what I mean. If they were prepared to take cash plus a player, we got plenty that they could take. Nuno Tavares, Lokonga, Nelson, and Nketiah, Fabio Vieira. It's just a case of if they would be willing to take one. Why is Nelson still at this club? And he's on 100 grand a week. I still don't understand. Matty Cash. Maybe I meant Matty Cash. Gunnar Roller said, I think he goes Jesus, Havertz, and Saka front three against Villa. I think he might do that as well. I was saying this. I feel like Trossard and Martinelli have not grabbed their opportunity. I think he might push Jesus to the right, to the left, where he played against Brighton, and then play Havertz, because I think he feels like Jesus should be in the team with how he's done in the Champions League, but he's not willing to take Havertz out. So maybe he squeezes both of them into the starting 11. Alfred said, been saying for years, wasting Martinelli as a winger, doesn't have the skill set. Also said Saka is not a good winger. He doesn't have any of the attributes of a good winger: pace, skill, and clinical. Alfred has been saying on this channel for so long, play Martinelli up front. I suggested it to Kevin Campbell, and he was like, yeah, but with his back to goal. I was like, play him on the shoulder, use him like a Vardy, but they've never gone for it. I don't know why. I've always thought there was a possibility, but we haven't really seen it. Arteta, Havertz must start no matter what. Yeah, he's not going to let his project go. He's going to force him on us no matter what. Shouldn't we play our best front three, Jesus, Saka and Martinelli? I mean, that was the front three that cooked for us last year, but he loves his stepson Havertz. And finally, very interesting that this story comes out after the disaster class over the weekend, and that is Zinchenko. Now, listen, I went crazy on my watch-along, mainly because of this guy, I'll be real. But it wasn't all because of him. However, he was abused on social media after. That's a totally different story. I won't be doing things like that. He was getting personal abuse. However, The Athletic Oh, a new left back. A new left back features on Arsenal's to-do list. To-do list, like we're doing the washing up and the hoovering. This summer. More on the Zinchenko conundrum and his contract situation in today's piece. Now, I've read that, and apparently, yeah, they're saying Bayern Munich. There's a couple other teams. I think there's another team in Germany as well. And this is what I always say. Again, these are the question marks you have to put on the manager. You paid 35 million for him to be the left back. 2 years later, we're saying, get rid of him, buy another left back. When you came in, you had Tierney. Tierney didn't work. You bought Tavares. Tavares didn't work. You bought Zinchenko. Zinchenko didn't work. You bought Kivior. Pep played a left-footed centre-back at left-back. You played a left-footed centre-back at left-back. That didn't work. Now we're back to square one. We need a left-back. Maybe Timber would have been there, but he's been out all season. And this is the frustration with me. You look at the goalkeeper situation. You walk in, Leno and Martinez. Martinez, you get rid of him for 20 million. Leno's your guy. A year later, Leno ain't your guy. Ramsdale comes in, Leno's gone. Now Ramsdale's your guy. 2 years later, Raya comes in, he's your guy. Ramsdale's on the bench. Now we're sitting here at the end of this year going, is Raya actually any better than the first guy that we had, Emi Martinez? No, Emi Martinez better than David Raya. And we're going to sign David Raya, and he's going to be our number one goalkeeper next year, and he's done quite well this season. I just don't think he's a top quality goalkeeper, and he's nearly 29, so I'm not sure he gets that much better than he is now. So in goal, you've created a jigsaw puzzle that didn't need to happen. At left back, you've created a jigsaw puzzle that didn't need to happen. Up front, you come in, Aubameyang's there. Okay, he's fading, he's not at his best. You get rid of him. Then you go to Lacazette. Lacazette's not scoring goals. You get rid of him. You sign Gabriel Jesus, 45 million. He's not the answer. You then buy Havertz for 65 million. False 9. You're playing him up front. He's not good enough to win you a title up front, probably. And then this summer, we're going to have to spend a whole heap of money on a striker. And we're going to have to get rid of Nketiah. You even tried to force Nketiah. You gave Nketiah a new deal. You signed Jesus, you signed Havertz, you played Trossard up front, and yet we still need a striker. And these are the frustrating things. These are the frustrating things with Arteta. And you might think I'm cherry picking and being very unfair, but they're the frustrating things that you don't see with the other clubs sometimes. You know, they get it right most of the time when it comes to that. We can't afford to get it wrong, because you can guarantee when we sell Zinchenko, we will take a loss. We won't get the £35 million back. When we sell... who was I thinking about? When we sell Jesus, eventually, we'll take a loss. We won't get 45 million for him. So, get rid of Eddie. Get rid of Zinchenko. Get rid and get the right players in. And you're right. Listen, I always said, and I've said this for a long time, Mikel Arteta's kryptonite is strikers. I've said it for a long time. He came into an Arsenal that Aubameyang was the Golden Boot winner and Lacazette was player of the season. And they just jumped. They might as well have jumped off a cliff how quick they went downhill, their form. Couldn't hit a barn door, you know? Jesus, I thought, you know what? Jesus was getting 10 to 15 goals at City. You bring him to Arsenal, he plays every week. Fans believe in him, number 9 shirt. You get 18 to 20 goals out of him. He's actually scored less at Arsenal than he scored at Man City. Why has he not been able to go to the next level? And Nketiah, you backed him, 100 grand, number 14. He hasn't done anything, really. He hasn't been able to go. Havertz up front, you know, he's going to be Arsenal's Bobby Firmino. Nowhere near. Yeah, he had a purple patch. He'll get 10 goals. Nowhere near. You look at Cole Palmer, 40 million, 20 goals. You look at Haaland, 60 million. I know he had a release clause and, you know, he was only going to go City. But that number 9, you know, that striker position, since Oba left, it hasn't been replaced. You know, we're still looking for that striker. Is it the system? Is it style? We're signing the wrong kind of players? I don't know. Hopefully we get there eventually. Ambient said, I really like this channel. I think we're lucky to have Arteta. We need to back up. Fair enough. Fair enough. No problem. And listen, let me tell you one thing. If Arteta was to go, I don't trust the owners to get it right. I don't trust them. You know, I've named managers that I think could come in and do a better job. I don't trust the ownership to get it right and go for someone else. They'll give him a new deal because he needs to get top four. Top four's enough for this ownership. Fourth, second, Champions League money. Do you know what? It might actually cost them more money to win the league than it does to finish second. Because you have big, big bonuses in your contract if you win the Premier League. And sometimes it even triggers clauses that your contract goes up. Finishing second is probably perfect for this ownership. Finish second, Champions League money, Premier League money, don't have to pay the bonuses. Go again, take out the money. NBA playoffs, Denver Nuggets, happy days. LA Rams, Super Bowl, happy days, people. Give the club 200 million that they've earned. Makes everyone think the Kroenkes are doing a great job. Happy days. You know, happy days. So, it's great for them. They love it. They absolutely love it. Same here, Curtis. This club doesn't have the ambition to really push the boat out for a top striker. They won't give him a new deal. They aren't stupid. They just spent 100 million on... They'll give Arteta a new deal, bro. 100%. Bro, what's your skincare routine? Bro, man thinks we're in Boots. Or, you know what I mean? Bro, just drink water. Get some natural cocoa butter or something. And you're good to go, man. Lay off that junk food, people, and you're good. We could have Kudus and Palmer and Rice. I mean, there you go. You know what I mean? Kudus, 35 million. He'd have probably got Saka out of the team by now. Palmer, 40 million. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Right, I'm going to leave it there. No more about my skincare routine, people. Big up to everyone tuning in. Really appreciate your support as always. 2,400 of you in the chat. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We will be back tomorrow for the watch-along. Arsenal against Bayern Munich. If there's enough news, I might go live at 2 o'clock because the press conference is at 6:30 tonight. So we might go live at 2 just for 45 minutes, an hour. Do a press conference reaction, and then we'll go for the watch-along, people. And it's all or nothing tomorrow night in the Champions League. Take care, hit the like button, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bless.